Happy Balram Purnima to everyone. So let me just begin with a small prayer, pranam mantra to Balram ji. Namaste halagraha, namaste mushalayudha, namaste revati kanta, namaste bhakta vatsala, namaste dharani dhara, namaste balanam shreshta, pralambare namaste stu, ehimam Krishna purvaja. So for so many years, it's quite some time, many devotees now, we have all been hearing about Lord Balram and the pastimes of Lord Balram. He is the one who carries the plow, right? And he is the one who, many of us probably have seen a plow only on Balram's hand. We have never seen it in real life. He is the one who carries a club, Mushada, right? He is the one who is beloved of Revati. We don't hear about her enough, right? He is very dear to his devotees. He is the one who's maintaining the earth, Dharani Dhara, and he is the strong of the strong. So this is something that we always hear about, Bala, strength, right? He killed the Pralamba Sura demon, and like this, he is the elder brother of Lord Balram. So this is a beautiful prayer that we recite. So many times when we talk about Balram Purnima, many people say, oh, there's no difference between Krishna and Balram. This is a black god and white god. Who is the white version of Krishna. Like nowadays, people have on their apps filters. They kind of want to see, how do I look if I was black? How do I look if I was white? And they put those filters. Now, how do I look if I was old? It's going to happen, but anyways. So people want to see how they look. So is Balram just a carbon copy of Krishna? Is he just, Krishna who wants to see how he looks white? I mean, it's not a Jackson version of Krishna. Or, what about Radharani then? They say that Radharani is also Supreme Personality of Godhead, that she's also God. So Lord, Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, he has three energies. He has his internal energy, an external energy, and marginal energy. Now, this is like an interesting thing that is only there in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Even other Vaishnavas, they don't have this marginal energy. What is that, man? That comes in between, marginal energy. So, internal energy is the external energy we know is the material elements, Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, and so on, the eight separated energies. Marginal energy, we understand to be the Jiva Tattva. So we, as the living beings, are on a whole category of our own, right? So if someone is going on an ego trip, you can say that you are on your own category all over, So you are a marginal energy. And the internal energy of the Lord, now this is very special. The internal energy is again divided into three. There's what is called as Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini. Now you'll be like, oh, I know that. Sandhini is Balaram, right? Sandhini is that which creates the dham, creates all the facilities, right? So it is the existential existence potency of the Lord. So that is represented or predominated or presided by Balram. And Hladini is the pleasure potency of the Lord that is predominated by Radharani. What about the third potency, Samvit? Knowledgeable potency. Who is the predominating of that? If Krishna expands himself as Balaram, Krishna expands as Radharani, then what about the third energy? So Acharyas mentioned that this third energy, Samvit, which is the knowledge energy, that is Krishna himself. So Samvit mixed with Hladini, then you know about Rasa. And Samvit mixed with Sandhini, then you actually experience or you understand Sambandha Gyan, the relationship of everything in connection with Krishna. So Krishna, that Samvit, knowledge is like the pivot. Just having happiness will not make sense if you don't realize that it brings happiness. Right? So knowledge or understanding, realization, Samvit is the pivot. So Krishna is the pivot. Now, question also comes that why does Krishna need to expand? Why does Krishna need to form one side, Radharani, and the other side, Balram? Why? Well, for the simple reason that even if you look in our lives, let's say you need to find an assistant. So you start searching around who's a good assistant, who's a good PA, and you take many interviews, you kind of like filter to people. So what are the kind of qualities you look for a person? A person has to be prompt, a person has to be expert, the person kind of has to understand you. That's a perfect assistant. But think about it. Who knows ourselves better than us? So Krishna wanting to serve himself, the best person to serve him is him, isn't it? Imagine if all of us have a carbon copy of ourselves who become our assistants. I know many people are already smiling right now. Oh, I need that, Prabhu. Where do I get that? Isn't it? Everyone says, if there's just two of me, I could get things done better, faster, efficiently. Like imagine if you're hungry and just you think that you're hungry and poof, you bring yourself a meal. Or just you're thirsty and poof, you just bring yourself a drink. So cool, isn't it? So that's Krishna anyway. That's not in us. So Krishna, like that, he expands himself as Srimati Radharani, he expands himself as Balaram just to serve him because they are the best in serving him. So therefore, these three tattvas actually, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. So this is now chanting, right? Prabhupada is sometimes translated Rama to be Balram. Nothing wrong in that. So Hare, Krishna, and Rama. These three words that are in our mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, when we chant, this is Vrindavan, right? They make up Vrindavan. So all of them are God in different functionalities. This somehow sounds suddenly like the Christian Trinity, you know? Right? So, but Krishna is the supreme. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. The other are his energies to serve him. There's a saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya. There's only one God, and the others are all his servants. Therefore, we see even the Panchatattva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the middle, and on one side, Nityananda Prabhu is there, on one side, Gadadhar Pandit is there. That's Balram and that's Radharani. Okay. So, the main niche, about Balram is that his service attitude. See, in this world, everyone of us wants to become a boss, becomes a controller, becomes an owner. We have what is called as a CEO mentality. What's a CEO mentality? A controller, an enjoyer, and an owner. We want to control everything. We want to enjoy everything. And we want to own everything, right? But Balram, who is Lord, he takes a position of a servitor. So Prabhupada calls him a supreme personality of servitor Godhead. Supreme personality of Godhead, supreme person of servitor Godhead. Okay. And Radharani being the topmost servant as well as Krishna. There's a beautiful prayer that comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Radharani is praying to Krishna. Radharani is saying, Krishna mora jivana, Krishna mora pranadana, Krishna mora pranera parana. हृदय उपारे धरुन सेवा करी सुखी करुन यही मोरा सदा रहे ध्यान. Radharani is saying that Krishna is my life, Krishna is my soul, Krishna is the wealth of my existence. The only thing my meditation is, I take it upon my heart, I take it upon my head, that if I can serve Krishna, please him, seva kari sukhi karon. Please serve and be happy. That's it. Yehi mora sada rahe dhyana. This is all my focus is. So Radharani is in the mood of service, Balram is in the mood of service. So weird that the internal energy wants to serve, the external energy wants to serve, but the marginal energy wants to dominate. So that is our condition, isn't it? So the material world is full with this propensity to dominate, to be the boss. And, but the spiritual world is full of the propensity to serve. Therefore, sometimes, Balram has this club in the hand to hit us on the head. You can't serve. You can't be a dominator, right? So we have this desire. So therefore, Balram, as we all know, we heard that he is the Adi Guru. He is the Guru Tattva manifested to come to teach us how to serve. Now, we have mentioned that Balram is the presiding deity of this Sandhini potency. Right? So the Sandhini potency means that it expands as the dharma, expands as the bed, expands as the shoes, expands as all these kind of things. That is, they create facilities. And Balram in this regard has another name. He is called as Shesha. What does Shesha means? So in Sanskrit, Shesha, Sanskrit, maybe even Hindi, Shesha basically, like we see Ashesha. Ashesha means unlimited, right? So we like when we go for prasadam, Ashesha. Please give me Ashesha prasadam, right? Unlimited prasadam. What is the opposite of unlimited? If you remove the A, Ashesha means unlimited. Shesha means basically zero. If you take, infinity and you go all the way back. So zero. Shesha means zero. So here's Balaram who has zero as his name. Can you imagine if you call someone Zilch? Excuse me, Zilch. Hey, zero. You feel like a loser. But no, Balram is zero because he does not desire anything for himself. He desires everything. Ashesha for Krishna and nothing for myself. Everything for Krishna, nothing from me. This is the mood of Balram. Shesha also means support. Shesha also means rest. So we see whenever we build a temple, build a center, or we install deities, we always install the Ananta Shesh, right, in Bhumi Pujan, because he is holding up everything. He's going to hold up the whole temple, right? So Shesha means support. Shesha also means zero. And in all the pastimes that we read, Balram is always kind of in the background. We don't hear much about his mother. We don't, Rohini, we don't hear much about his wife, Revati, even himself, very few pastimes. He always looks very calm, very, just ready to assist. But we have seen that when he does act, then he can be very extreme as well. He can be very furious as well, Balram. Okay, so we're going to look at a few leelas in that regard. Jiva Goswami writes a very beautiful narration about Krishna's pastime called a book called Gopal Champu. And in that, when he glorifies in one verse about Balaram's contradicting nature, how Balaram, so quiet, so shant, as they say, but at the same time can be very extreme. He says, Balaram, he is the protector of cows, but the killer of Dhenuka. He protects cows, but he kills asses. Or he kills jackasses, It's like, this is some biasness. Then he says, he has long arms, because it's mentioned Balram has long arms up to his knees. But he's the killer of Pralamba. Now, Pralamba means elongated. Pralamba is very huge, much larger than even Balram. But here, something is so large, still Balram can engulf him and kill him. He is called Rama. Balaram, he is called Rama actually. But he is the killer of Dvivida. Dvivida is a gorilla. It comes in the Krishna book pastimes as well. He is called Rama, but he kills Dvivida, who is an associate of Rama. So Dvivida is this gorilla who was actually assistant or associate or helping Lord Ramchandra in Ramayana. But now when he comes here, he becomes a little demoniac, right? He tries to disturb the pastimes. So here's Balram, who is also called Rama, who's killing a demon who was an associate of Rama. This is so contradictory, So Jiva Goswami is just thinking that, oh, Balram is just beyond comprehension. So speaking about this, that how Balram is just, difficult to understand, I want to talk a little about the birth of Lord Krishna and Lord Balram, especially Lord Balram, because there's a lot of confusion, or there's a lot of question that arises. How, Prabhu, but isn't it like that? Isn't it like this? So we're going to look at a few questions about his birth. I would request devotees, because this is just an online class. So if you have any questions, please note them down immediately, write them down immediately, because as the class goes on, you think that, I'll ask later, but you'll forget. Okay, so I want you to, if you have any questions, please do write them down. So let's see the birth. We all know, okay, story, simple story, beautiful story. Balaram is the 7th child of Devaki and Vasudev in the jailhouse of Kamsa. The earlier 6. Okay, we're going to take the questions later. It suddenly popped up. So, 7th son of Devaki in the jailhouse of Kamsa. And the earliest 6 children that were born prior to Balaram were demons. They are called the Shad Garbhasuras, the 6 demons, right? We have heard the story. They are Anarthas, right? They were killed by Kamsa. So there's a huge history there of Kalanemi and Hiranyakashipu and all that. So there were 6 demons, they were killed. And we always say, or we always share, that Balram appeared before Krishna. Why? Because as the servant goes before the master, isn't it? So Balram came before Krishna to set up the scene, to set up the bed, to set up the field, so that Krishna can come beautifully. And in that regard, as the 7th pregnancy of Devaki, Krishna then sends Yogamaya. Krishna tells to Yogamaya, hey, that look, my potency, my amsha has appeared now in Devaki's womb. Why don't you kind of transfer him? It's like the boss in the company saying, hey, you don't work in this department. Why don't you transfer him? And anybody who's working and you hear the word transfer, you're like, unless it's a promotion, isn't it? But so here Krishna comes and tells Yogamaya, hey, why don't you transfer Balaram into the womb of his original mother, Rohini? Okay, and where was Rohini at this time? Rohini was in Vraja. Rohini was one of the wives of Vasudev was living with Nanda Maharaj in Vraja. So why don't you transfer Balaram all over there, right? And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that only Yoga Maya could do it, Mahamaya could not do it. So Yoga Maya came, removed the pregnancy from Devaki and placed into Rohini's womb. And for that reason, he is called as Shankarshan, right? Sankarshana, Akarshana. He was dragged or attracted into the womb of Rohini at the time. And it's understood that Devaki had a miscarriage. The seventh child was a miscarriage. So everyone in the jailhouse or in the palace of Kamsa was feeling very sorry, including Kamsa himself. Everyone was feeling very sorry. She had a miscarriage. And he appeared in the womb of his eternal mother, Rohini, and therefore he's called as Rohini Nandan. So in today's class, if you're a little attentive, we have discussed one name called Shesha. We have discussed one name called Sankarshana. We have discussed another name of Rohini Nandan. Okay. So this pastime brings up a lot of questions. I'm not sure about you, but at least in my mind, so many questions. So one question is that, how can demons appear in the womb of Mother Devaki? Now, Mother Devaki is the Nitya Siddha, eternal associate of the Lord. She's a pure devotee. Why would demons or anarthas appear in her womb? And that same place later, the Lord appears. It's like, isn't it like, kind of rasabas or kind of contradictory? So this question is brought on by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary, which Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam as well. So how could the demons appear in Devaki's womb? Or she's she's a Nitya Siddha. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, just like this material universe also exists within the Garbha or within the womb of the Supreme Lord, right? But it does not contaminate the Lord. Similarly, these 6 children, these 6 demons were also sitting within Devaki, but they were not contaminating her, right? So he quotes this verse in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 2nd verse. Matstani sarva bhutani naham tesu avastita. That Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.2 that everything is situated within him, right? But he is not within them. I mean, he is not affected by them. So this nature that the Lord has is also the same nature that devotees have. So Devaki also could hold the Shadgarbha Asuras, the demons, within her, but does not mean that she became contaminated by it. So one should not think that Devaki was also overcome by these anarthas, or Devaki was like a sadhaka who overcome her anarthas, nothing like that. So this is the first question. Second question. Why didn't just Krishna allow Balaram to be born from Devaki? Isn't it? He took birth later, isn't it? Why could he not just, why he had to do all that, transfer and miscarriage? It's so gorish, can't he just allow Balram to take birth and then later Balram can go wherever he likes to go? Isn't it? It sounds more simple. Let's simplify the story. Why make it so dramatic? Bring in Yoga Maya and all. So this question is answered by Vallabha Acharya in his Sri Subodhini commentary. He says that, oh, no. Krishna does not want Balaram to take birth from Devaki right there at that time, because if Balaram really did appear as the 7th child, as a male child, what is Kamsa going to do? Kamsa is going to do what he always does with all the other children. Pick them up by the feet, swing them around and crush them on the stone. But he will not be able to do that with Balaram. The moment he touches Balaram's feet, he's going to be liberated. Touching the lotus feet of Balaram. Listen, so Krishna says, no. This is my job, isn't it? This is my sphere. I'm the guy who's supposed to liberate Kamsa. Why? Because Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. Kamsa was so Krishna consciousness in fear, not favorably, but he was always thinking about Krishna, that naturally Krishna being reciprocal, Krishna is the one who is going to come to liberate Kamsa. So it would not be good, or it will not be kosher, or it will not be the tattva, that if Kamsa was only thinking of Krishna and suddenly Balram comes in and kills him. It's like, hey, where did you come from, man? I was thinking about Krishna, isn't it? So Krishna, respecting that, said that, okay, Balram, this is not your game. I need to transfer you out of the field. You came and set up everything great, but head out right now. I'm going to come in and I have to do this job. So that's one reason why Krishna did not allow Balram to just take birth and simplify the whole pastime, isn't it? There's a third question. Now, this is even a more difficult burning question. Rohini, being one of the wives of Vasudev, was in Vraja when she got pregnant. Vasudev was in jail in Mathura. Hello. Rohini was pregnant in Vraja and husband Vasudev was in Mathura. So people didn't suspect this? Like, hey, your husband's in jail. How did you get pregnant? So people ask this question, isn't it? Some people may say, Prabhu, don't overthink this. This is a Leela. This is a pastime of the Lord. He can do anything. Yeah, but still, isn't it just create room for question? So anyways, Acharyas, they explain this very beautifully. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his one purport to the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 7th verse, 10 to 7, he says that after Devaki's 6 children were killed, Vasudev, seeing Rohini pregnant, meaning Rohini was with Vasudev and Devaki at the time, he secretly sent her to Gokula. This is just a one-line description that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. No other descriptions, no other explanation, nothing. It just points to the fact that Rohini was there, and seeing it, he sent her off. So, the curious mind, the questioning mind, we start digging further, looking back in the history of the Acharyas. So, Jiva Goswami, in his Gopal Champu, Jiva Goswami, of course, the 6 Goswamis, he gives a beautiful description. He explains this very clearly, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur write in one line. So he explains this in his Gopal Champu. He says, one day, this is a story, that Vasudev was feeling very disturbed. He saw how Kamsa was so angry. Immediately fearful of Kamsa's anger, he sent Rohini. He said, you go to Vraja, please go there and stay. And Rohini, riding on a horse, arrived at Vraja, and she stayed there secretly. And she stayed with Nanda Maharaj, who was the cousin of Vasudev. And Yashoda saw Rohini, and she was so happy to greet her. And they were just like 2 rivers of Yamuna and Ganga coming together. Very beautiful descriptions. After some time, it is mentioned that Rohini was seen to be pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant at the time. So Yashoda was so happy seeing that Rohini was 3 months pregnant. So this kind of solves the problem. No, Rohini was with Vasudev, and then she comes. So she was already 3 months pregnant, and was so happy and beautiful. At that same time, when she was 3 months pregnant and sent to Gokula, so after some time, when she was 7 months pregnant, Rohini was 7 months pregnant with Balram, right? At that time, Yashoda also became pregnant. So Yashoda also became pregnant with Krishna. So here Jiva Goswami presents that actually Krishna was originally born to Yashoda only. Right? That the Devaki child was a 4-arm form that later merged when when Vasudev brought that Mathura Krishna, he brought him to Vrindavan. That time the 2 forms of the original Krishna, who was born eternally to Yashoda, right? That 4-arm form, or that 4-arm Mathura Krishna, merged into the original Krishna. So he says like this. So Jiva Goswami, being a staunch follower of Mahaprabhu, staunch follower of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, he says that no, Vrindavan is most supreme, and Vrindavan is Yashoda and Nanda are most supreme. They are the original parents. So he puts up his point like this. So here's the story that now Rohini is 7 months pregnant, and Yashoda is also becoming pregnant with a child, and the child is actually Swayam Krishna. And now it's mentioned that Rohini carried her pregnancy for 14 months. Like what? And why this happened? Because this was Yoga Maya's intervention. Yoga Maya wanted Krishna and Balaram, those 2 supreme Lord twins, those 2 supreme lords, to be born at the same time, close to each other, but just Balaram earlier to Krishna. So it's mentioned that Rohini held her pregnancy for 14 months, and after that she took birth. So when she was pregnant 14 months, Yashoda was pregnant 8 months, right? And at that time, she also, after some few days, gave birth to Krishna. And Krishna took birth, Swayam, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Yoga Maya was doing all this arrangement upstairs, upstairs, wherever she is. She's doing all that arrangement, and she transformed herself into a small baby girl and slept beside Krishna. So Yashoda was so tired after giving birth, she did not realize whether she gave birth to a boy or to a girl. She was not sure. So then Vasudev comes carrying that Mathura Krishna, right? And when he comes and he brings the child to Yashoda, he just keeps the baby down and it merges. There's one Krishna now, and he picks up the female child and he goes. So he also did not really see, did not really understand, did not ask much questions. So, these are the three questions that I can think of or that people have asked me before about the birth of Balram. Not much is mentioned about Rohini, the background. So, these beautiful descriptions are given in Gopal Champu. So, if you have any questions, if you're more confused, you can also ask. I hope that solves some query, right? So, like that, the beauty of Balram is explained that he's so white, he's like crystal, right? He has a beautiful moonlight, moonshine. He's always wearing blue garments. He has forest flowers, right? And he has beautiful earrings that touch his cheek. He has long arms. And like that, his name Balarama has significance. I think recently, His Holiness Haladar Swami Maharaj also gave a class to all of you, and he spoke a lot about Bala, the names of Balaram, isn't it? So Bala means strength. Rama means one who gives happiness, enjoyment. His name is Balarama. His name is Bala Deva because he is the Supreme Lord also. Bala means strength. Deva means Supreme Lord. His name is Balabhadra, right? Especially in Odisha, they call him Balabhadra. So Balabhadra, Balam means strength. Bhadra means all auspiciousness. And affectionately in Vrindavan, he is called as Dauji because Dau means elder brother. So like that, these are the beautiful descriptions of the names of Balram. Now in the beginning, we talked about how Balram has a weapon, isn't it? For two weapons. He carries a plow as a weapon. So quiz for all the people of ISKCON of Round Rock, isn't it? Do you all know the names of Krishna's weapons? Now don't tell me plow. Plow is not a name, like actual name. Like Krishna's chakra is called Sudarshan, right? Krishna's bow is called okay. Kaumodaki, someone replied. So Kaumodaki is the mace of Krishna, and the Krishna's bow is called Saranga. He's known as Saranga Danva, right? So what is the name of Balaram's club and Balaram's plow, right? So something to note. This is mentioned in Harivamsha. Harivamsha is an appendix to Mahabharata. After reading Mahabharata, there's a small appendix of additional stories that is called Harivamsha. Okay. Can we use Google? I think you can. Nowadays with AI, everything is available, even if you Google it. Okay. So there's a shloka that comes in Harivamsa, which explains this. Halam samvartakam nama saunandam mushalam tata dhanusham pravaram sarangam gada kaumodaki tata. So this is a scene, the battlefield where Krishna and Balram is fighting on behalf of the Yadavas. And from the heavens, all heavenly weapons start coming down. So Halam Samvartakam Nama. So Balram's plow, that Hala, is sometimes called as Samvartaka because it's like Vajra. It's like, personification of thunder, Samvartaka. And his Musalam is club or mace, is called Saunandam, right? Saunandam means that Sunandam, that which brings good pleasure. Can you imagine if someone has a weapon that says it's pleasurable? Right? Saunandam, it just brings about pleasure. So I guess when Balram hits us on the head, we feel some pleasure. I don't know. But anyways, so Saunandam. And Krishna has his weapons, his Dhanusha, his bow and arrows, they are called Saranga. And Krishna's mace or Krishna's Gada is actually called Kaumodaki. Okay, so these are some interesting details. And it's mentioned that how does Balram fight with these two clubs, right? So with his right hand, with Balram's right hand, he holds the plow. and with his left hand, he holds the club. These are small details. So I realized that you have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities also. So if you have their ornaments, So with his right hand, he holds the plow, and with his left hand, he holds the club. Now, how does he fight with this? So their description in Hari Vamshas, what does he do? He uses the plow and he hooks onto chariots of kings and he pulls them nearer and then hits them with the mace. So similarly, with so many elephants and chariots and enemies, Balram hooks them with the plow or the hala, pulls them close and hits them right with his mace. So Balram being Guru also does that to us sometimes, isn't it? Guru, Vaishnava, seniors. We cannot appreciate association until unless we are in association. Many times we say that association of Vaishnavas are so important, so important. We even realize this. Like if you come on a weekend to stay at the temple, or if you come on a camp or some kind of a seminar and outing, you kind of become more serious. You get to wake up early. But if you're on your own, let's say you're in your own apartment, own house, or wherever, it's very difficult to wake up. It's very difficult to worship. It's very difficult to chant. So we all know the importance of association. But sometimes we need someone to just drag us. Like I'm sure those who are taking the service of managing or being the preachers or the in charge of ISKCON in your temple also have the difficult task of pulling devotees. Are you coming for the temple today? Are you coming online? Are you coming for the program? That's like, putting out that hala, putting out the plow and pulling people, Whether the mace comes later, I don't know. But anyways, so purification comes that when we come close to association and when especially the instruction or the seva, which sometimes feels like a blow to the head, isn't it? So many devotees have this experience. Sometimes devotees become so frustrated with association, Association is everything. They become like, Prabhu, I don't want to have anything to do with the temple. I don't want to have anything to do with the devotees. I just want to go to the temple, see Krishna, see Jagannath, worship and come back. Right? I see many devotees are smiling. So many devotees feel like this, I just don't want to get involved in this and that, this person, that Mataji says this Prabhu says that. Everything's just so, I just want to go to temple for Krishna, for Jagannath, pray and come back. That's it. But reality does not work that way. We need to actually get into the mix, as they say. We need to actually get into the association, not just being in the association, but getting into the association. And that we have to realize will involve a plow and a club. We have to realize that there'll be some pulling and some hitting. It's going to happen. Be ready for it, accept it with an open heart, because that is actually our purification. To the degree that we are humble, we are simple, we can accept this purification that comes from the representation of Balaram. So moving forward, we see that whenever we speak about Balram, there are beautiful pastimes, especially with his demon killing leelas. So all of us know that Krishna killed many of the demons in Vrindavan, right? But two demons were killed by Balaram specifically, Dhenukasur and Pralambasur. Right? In any katha, every year, they speak about this, Dhenukasur and Pralambasur. But I'm the questioning kind of guy. So I like to ask why? Why only Dhenukasur and Pralambasur? Why didn't Balram just kill the others? Balram could have killed Kaliya. Balram was watching when Krishna was dancing or playing with Kaliya. He had his reasons, Krishna had his reasons, but Balram could have done it. Why Balram had to kill Pralambasur? Krishna was present. Why Balram had to kill Dhenukasur? Krishna was present. So these answers are given again by our glorious acharyas. So it is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Krishna Samhita or his Chaitanya Shikshamrit, in both places, he has written that specifically this Dhenukasur and Pralambasur has to be killed only by Balaram. It represents those contaminations within our hearts that can only be removed by a devotee's sincere, strong endeavor. We have to put a lot of energy and effort to remove it. That is the only way that it can be removed. Okay, so just a little backtracking. All the demons in the Vrindavan Leela are representing some form of obstacle or anarthas in our progress towards bhakti. It begins with Putana. Putana represents a fake guru. So when a new person comes to temple, comes to devotional life, the first thing, or comes even to spiritualism in general, the first thing one needs to have is discrimination. What is right, what is wrong? What is honest, what is truthful, and what is fake? Putana came in the form of a very beautiful Apsara. Everyone was attracted to her. Even Yashoda, Nanda, they picked up Krishna and put in the hands of Putana, thinking that she's all right. She's one of us. She's an Apsara. She just came to give some blessings. So sometimes in our life also we may see, especially now with online, no? Some guru, some Baba, some person, whoever they may be, and we might like, wow, speak so nicely, looks so good. And we might kind of like, want to follow them, but we may end up in a wrong path. So the first obstacle that comes in everyone's life, a spiritual seeker, is a Putana. Putana means a false guru. Who's a real guru? Who's a false guru? Putana came as if she was going to feed milk. Milk is nourishing, but she actually fed poison, which is killing. So sometimes, online we are hearing and we are seeing this and that, and we're like, wow, this person is also speaking something nice. This person is also speaking something nice. You don't know. You think it's milk, but it could just be poison. Right? How it affects us later. So like that, all the demons are there. His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj in ISKCON, he's one of the people. He has made a book on it as well, who gives beautiful seminars on this. Demons in Vrindavan, the Leelas, and explains each one of this beautiful seminar. He's one of the famous people. There are many who does that also. So like this, all the demons were killed by Krishna because Krishna is the Paramatma within the heart. If we are sincere, Krishna will guide us. If we are a little insincere, not very honest with ourselves, so Krishna will lead us to a fake guru. So these are the kind of obstacles that Krishna can kill. But Pralambasur and Dhenukasur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, these are the kind of things that, Krishna doesn't interfere. Krishna just stands and watches. You got to make the effort. Why? What does Dhenukasur and Pralambasur represent? Dhenukasur represents gross materialistic intelligence. Dhenukasur represents gross materialistic intelligence. That kind of thought, that kind of thinking, which is not conducive to devotional service. For example, this is just another Balram Purnima class. We have heard it all years. It's fine if I don't attend. Or the deity greeting or the temple program. It happens every Sunday. I hope it happens Sunday. I'm not sure. Right? If it happens every Sunday, it happens every Saturday, it happens every Friday, whenever it is. So this gross materialistic intelligence. Oh, holy name. I'm chanting it for the past 20 years, Hare Krishna. I know it left, right, center. That's fine. Maybe I'll chant later. So that kind of gross materialistic intelligence, which makes something spiritual seem so mundane. Right? Sometimes even in taking prasadam, right? We're like, oh, I don't like this. This is not good for that. So I'm not sure, but I hope you know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this prasadam song, right? We sing prasadam sevaya. Sorry to discuss about prasadam in class, but eventually it comes up. So there's another song, Prasadam Sevaya 2, right? If you look in the Vaishnava songbook, there's another song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, fully in Bengali, very beautiful. It starts with Eka dina shanti pure, Prabhu advaitera ghare, Dui Prabhu bojane boshilo. He's describing in Shantipur the two Prabhus, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're sitting down taking prasadam in the house of Advaita Acharya. And Shah Kori Ashwadana, Prabhu Bole Bhakta Gana. Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eating the shak, this green leafy vegetable which he loves. He's eating it and he's telling Prabhu Bole Bhakta Gana, Hey Shak, Krishna Ashwadilo. This shak, this vegetable item, this preparation, this sabji, this has been tasted by Krishna. And he's relishing. Then he says, Hey no shaka ashwadane, Krishna prema aise mane. When you're eating this, you should think, oh, how Krishna has enjoyed this. This is Krishna prem. Right? So tomorrow, when you have your feast and festivals, right, when you're eating that pakoda, when you're having that sweet rice, you can always remember that, no, this is not just sweet rice. This has been tasted by the lips of Krishna. And then after the song goes, in one line, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Jada buddhi parihari prasada bhojana kori. When you're taking prasadam, please throw away that jada buddhi, that gross materialistic intelligence thinking that, oh, this is that, this is this. Oh, I don't like, this is tomato, Prabhu, I don't like tomato. This is bendi, you know, this is okra, I don't like this. This is brinjal, oh my God. Sometimes we have these choices that we make. So let's not discriminate and insult prasadam like that. So here, Jada Buddhi Parihari. So Dhenukasur represents this gross materialistic intelligence, this misidentity, not really to understand the swarup of the holy name, not able to understand the swarup of the Vaishnava Sangha, not really able to understand the swarup of the deities that we see in the temple. So the danger with Dhenukasur propensity or Dhenukasur mentality is, if we do not remove it, over time, we are going to lose our taste in bhakti. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, this is something that you have to work on yourself. And Krishna is standing just like that, watching. Krishna is not going to do it for you, because if you really want it, you have to run for it. So this is something very important, Dhenukasur. So therefore we need Balram, as we discussed. Balram is spiritual strength. We need Balram, we need to hear, we need to practice, we need to put some effort to remove that rust, that junk, that has covered our consciousness, the Jada Buddhi. We need to remove that. And we need to appreciate the holy name, appreciate Vaishnavas for who they are, appreciate the deity, appreciate Bhagavatam, not just some discussion, not just some story, isn't it? So Dhenukasur also represents an overburdened, load-carrying mentality, isn't it? Now, donkeys are generally used to carry burden. They have that ability, they have that foolishness also. So it's total ignorance. You have to remove that. We are carrying an ignorance life after life. And we may be in ISKCON for many years, we may be initiated even, we may be practicing even, but that load is always there until and unless we learn to break that load, throw that load, that foolish load of this proprietorship mentality. In the Dhenukasur pastime, when Krishna comes to Talvan, and Balram comes, and Balram is super strong, Balram says, I'm going to shake that tree. Now tal tree, tad, right? This palm kind of tree, you can't shake it. So I'm sure even in the States, you have palm trees that grow around. I'm not sure in Texas, but at least in Los Angeles or somewhere around, you have a lot of palm trees. So it's not something that you can just shake. But here Balram shakes those trees and those fruits, which are very heavy, right? They don't just break and smash. They fall to the ground, thud, 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 thud. And immediately Dhenukasur, who was sleeping, wakes up and is like, hey, who has entered into my area? So this proprietorship mentality, territorial mentality, foolishness, thinking that this is mine, my temple, my position, my organization, my power, me, I, my, this creeps up. This creeps up in our devotional life. Maybe not in the initial years when everyone comes to temple, they're so humble. Oh, Prabhu, this is your temple. I have come here to take shelter of your temple. And after a few years, you have come to take shelter of my temple. Isn't it? So it comes up, right? We have to learn to give up this territorial proprietorship mentality. So that's Dhenukasur. Only by the mercy of Guru, we have to pick it up by the hind legs, by the back legs, spin it around and just toss it out, throw it out. Now let's see what's Pralambasur representing. Okay, now this is going to be a little more difficult. A little difficult here means painful for us. The jiva is so, we are all so much, we love Krishna, but at the same time, we love our ahankar, we love our anarthas. So Krishna, I love you with one hand, I love my anarthas with another hand. So if you feel Dhenukasur was difficult enough to remove those conceptions of gross materialism, Pralambasur represents gross and subtle desire for sex. Gross desire is that jiva's just gross desire to physically enjoy, right? But the subtle sex here is talking about puja, labha, and pratishta. The desire for name, fame, adoration. That's also an intoxication. That's also an addiction. Right? So we work with some anti-addiction programs here in our Govardhan Eco Village, in our local area when we do preaching. So we try to help people to come out of addictions. Addictions can be of many types. Generally here it's alcoholism, and smoking and drugs. But there's also addiction, also expands its influence into other fields, such as, now there's mobile addiction, internet addiction, but there's also something called sexual addiction, where a person is so much intoxicated or desiring, not only for physical contact. Okay, this is what we deal with in the outside world with, someone desiring for sexual engagement. But Shastras here speak, there's another intoxicating thing on a subtle level. Subtle sex means the desire for name, fame, adoration. There's also a sex desire because it's very intoxicating, right? So Pralambasur was that kind of person that can only be detected by Guru, because when Pralambasur came, he changed his form. He came like a Gopal, and they were playing that tug of war kind of thing. But Balram immediately identified, hey, this is a demon, right? So Guru is that person which identifies in us that desires that we have. Now, just around 6 hours ago, or maybe 8 hours ago, I was discussing with one boy here. He has been in ISKCON practicing 16 rounds, following 4 regular principles, living in our youth hostels, young boy, for the past almost 4 years. 4 years practicing everything. For 4 years, every day Mangala Arati, living in association of other youth boys, very fired up people. He messages me that, Prabhu, I know everything. I know Krishna, I know the philosophy. I've been practicing for 4 years, Mangala Arati non-stop. I've been on all yatras, everything, Prabhu. But please, can I share with you? I said, sure, let me know what happened. I just have so much desires. So I said, okay, nothing wrong with that. What are your desires? Do you want to eat meat? Do you want to drink alcohol? Because that's not a favorable desire. He says, no, Prabhu. I just really want to enjoy sense gratification. So I was like, okay, fine. So there are ways to it. I said, get married, get a job, earn, work. He said, Prabhu, I really, really want to enjoy sense gratification. I just want to earn a lot of money, be rich, powerful, and I want to have a beautiful wife. So he's sharing now this. And it is not shocking. Now, people who do share, there are very few, and there are many who don't share, but they feel it. So this is Pralambasur, this desire, this material tendency of gross and subtle sexual desire. It does come, it's a big obstacle in the lives of all devotees. But we need to take shelter of the Guru, we need to take shelter of the Vaishnavas, how to go by them. This will come up. You can't say, no, Prabhu, I never had a difficult day in my life. Oh, ISKCON has been like, on the fly, as they say. ISKCON has been cool, no problem. I could chant Hare, I could chant my 16 rounds in one sitting, Prabhu, no issues with me. No devotees can lie about this, that all of us go through those struggles of having Pralambasur or dealing with Pralambasur. The thing about Pralambasur is, sometimes we want to brush it under the carpet. We say that I have these desires, I negate it. I don't want to discuss about it. And let me drag on 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 40 years, and later it becomes so big. You start sweeping the dust under the carpet, and the carpet keeps growing, becomes a huge mound. And then later you realize that, my God, why I can't defeat it now. So Pralambasur came as a small boy, but immediately it grew huge size. Similarly, our desires also like that. They start off small, and we kind of brush them aside. Oh, let me just chant my rounds, I'll overcome it. Let me just do my Mangala Arati strictly. You're not overcoming it. You're just avoiding it. Yeah, you're not overcoming it. You're just avoiding it. You're avoiding the issue. And slowly it starts growing. Like this boy, after 4 years, he's now sharing this. So I tell him, no problem. Come into the association of Vaishnava, discuss with your counselor. There are ways that you can dovetail your material desires. If you remember the 10 offenses to the holy name, right? Dashanama Aparat, 10 offenses to the holy name. So the 10 offenses, the 10th offense is not to be to keep or to maintain material desires, right? It's an offense to maintain material desires, even after understanding so many instructions of this matter. So why they say maintain material desires? They don't say have material desires. Because if you say to have material desires, then all of us are, we're gone. We have so many material desires. To maintain material desires means this, to sweep it under the carpet, to keep it aside, thinking that, okay, it will go away, it will go away. You're not doing anything about it. But you're saying, no, it'll go away, please go away. And next thing you know, you turn around and Pralambasur is there. Okay? So we need to be very real about our issues, our desires, and our aspirations as well. So a devotee has to remove this with great enthusiasm, remove this contamination, and with the mercy of Balaram. I would like to quote one verse in two verses, if you allow me. One verse is from the Shvetasvara Upanishad, where it mentions how worship of Guru is very important. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru tasya te katita hyartha prakashyante mahatmana. So great souls, mahatmana, prakashyante, they give you knowledge, they give you faith in both. Yata deve tata guru, give you faith in both Supreme Lord as well as Guru. So both are needed for us. Someone may think that, can I just worship Krishna and all of this will go away? Krishna can kill all the other demons, but these two demons, you need Guru. You need Guru Ashraya. You need the association of Vaishnavas. You need the energy or the strength from the Sangha of the devotees. Then only these two can go away. Krishna is not going to do it. So, Yata Deve Tata Guru. If you take a side point, this is also an importance of why we should go for initiation. Some people say that there's no need of initiation. I have Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I have Prabhupada on audio. That's fine. No, but we need this because these two things do not go so easily. Okay. And another verse that comes from 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is 5th canto, 11th chapter, 17th verse. This is a conversation between Jada Bharat and Rahugana. So here Jada Bharat speaks about the importance of both Guru and Hari. He says, Bhradravyamenam tadad abhara viryam upekshaya dehitam apramattah gurur hares charano pasanastro yahi vyalekam swayam atma mosham. He uses this word Guru Hare Charana Upasana Astra. Astra means weapon. Use the weapon of worship, Upasana, onto the lotus feet of Guru and Hari. Both. So the mind, how to conquer the mind. Basically, Jada Bharat is speaking about to Rahugana about how to conquer the mind. How to conquer the mind? Use the weapon of service onto the lotus feet of spiritual master and Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are the methods that you can do to overcome our mind, overcome our desires. Obey Guru, disobey the mind. This is the simple way to give up lust. Okay. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after explaining these things, he writes, these methods of process of purification are very deep and mysterious. These methods of the process of purification are very deep and mysterious. Who is saying? Our Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Therefore, it is necessary to learn about them directly from a bona fide spiritual master. So, I think we are up for time. I would like to see the comments and maybe have some discussion. You have some questions. So, I won't go ahead. We just discussed a few things today. I'll just summarize. So, first we saw about the Tattva of Lord Balaram, how Krishna has three energies, right? Internal, external, marginal. And within internal energy, he has three divisions again, Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini. Sandhini is Balaram, who creates all the facilities for the Lord's appearance. We saw some questions about the birth of Balaram, right? My God, you know, 3 questions. How could the Shad Garbhas born in the womb of Devaki when she's a pure devotee? We saw that why didn't Krishna allow Balaram to appear? And we saw the question that how did Rohini get pregnant in Vraja when Nanda Maharaj was in the jail, isn't it? That's my personal favorite question, which I had, right? And then we saw about the whole pastime of that answer. Then we saw a little about the beauty of Balaram, right? And some other names in this class, you know, I kind of like put the names all over the class. So I hope that you gathered them. They're like jewels, right? We began from Shesha, Shankarshana, Balaram, Baladeva, Balabhadra, isn't it? And Dauji. We talk about the weapons of Balaram, the purpose of the weapons, how the Hala, which is known as Samvartaka, pulls us close. And that's not all. The mace is coming next, isn't it? And hits like that. And then most importantly, we discuss about why these 2 demons are specifically killed by Balaram, Pralamba, and Dhenukasur, especially taking shelter and strength from all our acharyas. So with this, I would like to end this discussion. It's already, you start at 7:30, 8:30 for you, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
I can only say that thank you so much for your kind patience and hearing, and happy Balram Purnima. And also, I can promise you, you're going to have a fantastic day tomorrow because I'm already there. Right, it's 7 a.m. for me. So thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a wonderful class. As you were recapping, I was reflecting on just how much you packed into 1 hour about Lord Balaram, and you can see that in the comments. It was just so, and it's just so many things that we hadn't heard before. So thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. I think we had a question that came earlier from Keshav. Keshav, if you're still on, if you want to unmute and ask the question, please.
Yeah, so I got the question. Maybe I can just ask it here, or just speak it here. That so Keshav Prabhu is asking that we mentioned earlier about Samvit, Sandhini, and Hladini, and they said that these are all Shaktis of Krishna. But he said Balram is an expansion rather than a Shakti. So the understanding of Shakti here is that Shakti means Prakriti, right? Shakti means feminine energy. So how can Krishna and his expansions are Purusha? How can they be described as Prakriti? I'm a little bit confused about this. So like I mentioned, Krishna initially has 3 energies. Internal energy, external energy, which is external energy is Prakriti. External energy is that Shakti, Maya. Shakti just means energy. Shakti can mean internal Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti. These are all Shaktis only. Because there's only one Purush ultimately, which is Krishna. And everyone takes the Shakti may not necessarily be a feminine form. Shakti means the servitor of the Shaktiman. So Krishna has 3 energies: external energy, which is Prakriti, which you're confused about; internal energy, which we dived in, right? Internal energy again comes into 3 features. These are all very dear to the Lord. This is non-different from the Lord. So Balaram, his brother, is non-different from Krishna. Radharani is also non-different. So sometimes people ask, do you have a feminine form of Godhead? Yes, Radharani, she's also God, isn't it? So Radha, Krishna, and Balaram. Hare, Krishna, Rama, they're all equal. So this Prakriti is external energy. It's not to be confused with internal energy. I hope that was okay. Yes. Is there a difference between what we call Shakti and expansion of Krishna? Well, technically, maybe using the words, you might get confused with it. But Shakti, and so depends on percentage. For example, Krishna's external energy. Why they are called external energy? Right? Because this energy, this Bahiranga Shakti of Krishna is that which makes you forget about Krishna. This Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, this Maya, it makes you forgetful of Krishna. Whereas Antaranga Shakti, that energy of love, that helps you remember Krishna. We pray to Balram, we pray to Radharani. It helps you to remember Krishna. So in that way, we can understand. They are all ultimately, Shakti means expansion only. Expansion of Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any devotees, any other questions or comments?
I think they're satisfied or thoroughly confused, maybe.
No, I thank you again, Prabhu, for such a wonderful class, and thank you for the service that you're doing. I was very inspired to hear what you're sharing about addiction, and I think that we need more devotees doing that globally, because it's a big problem. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing everything. Request devotees to go off mute if possible, and cameras if possible, and loudly chant Hare Krishna to express our gratitude to His Grace Hemarupa Caitanya Prabhu for this wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, devotees, for joining. This week is the week we're preparing for Janmashtami. We will all be at the temple on Saturday, in the Friday evening, Saturday in the evening, preparing for the festival, and of course, our Sunday program, and then Janmashtami on Monday. And Prabhu set us off in the right tone to meditate on Bala. As we said, as Mahaladhar Maharaj also said, we need all the strength that we can as we're preparing for the festival. So please, we look forward to seeing all of you the next couple of weeks. And Hemarupa Chaitanya Prabhu, we really look forward to serving you in person at ISKCON of Round Rock, hopefully very soon.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll see you all soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.